It is late evening in the woods, maybe an hour after sundown. You have your tent set up, your little lantern going inside, and you're feeling pretty well hidden. But from a quarter mile away, that nylon dome is glowing in the dark timber like a paper lamp. Your campfire is pushing a column of gray smoke up above the treetops, and every soul within a mile knows exactly where you are sleeping tonight. Now, my people moved through these same woods for thousands of years. Hunting parties camped within a few hundred yards of the deer they were after, and the deer never knew it. Travelers slept a stone's throw from folks who were actively looking for them and were never found. They were not magic. They understood a handful of things about the woods that the camping aisle at the sporting goods store will never teach you, because there was never a dime in teaching a man to buy less. Today I am going to walk you through the whole method, from picking the spot to breaking camp in the morning. And stay with me to the end, because the reason their fires could burn all night without giving them away is not the size of the flame. It is one specific thing that smoke actually is, and once you understand it, you can make your smoke all but disappear. I'm Wes Kingfisher. I'm 64 years old. I'm of Cherokee heritage, and I was raised by my grandmother Ada in the hills of eastern Oklahoma, on the same land where I still live today. She taught me the plants and the kitchen. My grandfather and my uncles taught me these woods, fire and shelter, and how to move through the timber without leaving a mark. 40 years on the powwow trail taught me the rest, from the northern plains to the desert southwest. The old ones never wrote this down, so listen close. Now let me be straight about what camping unseen meant to my people, because it was never a game. If you are hunting and your camp spooks every deer in the valley, you are walking home hungry. If you are traveling through country where you are a stranger, the quiet man passes through in peace and the loud man collects trouble. So being invisible in the woods was not a trick. It was a working skill, as ordinary as knowing how to sharpen a knife. And here is what the modern world sells you instead: a bright orange tent, because orange is easy to find. Smooth nylon walls that shine when any light touches them. A big cheerful fire ring, a white gas lantern, a cooler that slams like a car door. Every piece of it is designed to be noticed. And then they wonder why the deer are gone and the camp host comes knocking. And I will say this plainly one time: camp where you have a right to be, on public land that allows it, or on private land with permission. The old way is respect for the land and for the people on it, and that has not changed one bit. What I'm teaching you is how to be a quiet guest, not a hidden trespasser. Keep that fire question in your back pocket too, because smoke is where nearly everybody gives themselves away, and I promise we are coming to it. Now, everything I'm about to show you comes out of a book I put together called The Native American Way: 101 Remedies, Skills, and Recipes that kept my people alive for 10,000 years. The old ones taught by voice around the fire. And when the chains got broken, most of it was never written down anywhere. So I wrote it down. It is the plants my grandmother Ada used and exactly how she used them, the wild foods and when to gather them, the fire and shelter and water skills like the ones in this video, and the old recipes that fed the people through every winter, all laid out plain, step by step. It is $17, marked down from $47, which is less than one tank of that white gas for the lantern I just told you to leave home. 10,000 years of testing. That's the guarantee on this one. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up. Give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. Good. Now let's go pick your spot. My grandfather had a rule about campsites, and it sounds backwards until you understand it. The pretty spot is the scene spot. That flat, open bank right beside the creek, with a nice view and the soft grass, is the worst campsite in the whole valley. Every animal in that country walks to the water at dusk and dawn, so you will spook everything that moves. Every person who wanders that land follows the water too, because water is where people go. Sound skips across open water like a stone, so your voice carries twice as far. And cold night air is heavy, so it slides downhill after sundown and pools in the valley bottom, right where your bedroll is. The old hunters camped 100 yards back from the water, up on the slope, 100 yards, about the length of a football field. They looked for a small flat bench partway up the hillside, tucked just inside the tree line, with thick brush or a deadfall behind them so nothing could approach from the back and no shape could show against the sky. Before you set one thing down, do what they did. Walk 30 yards out from the spot, look back at it, then circle around and look at it from the other sides. Take your time with this. There is no rush. If you can pick out where your camp will sit, so can anyone else, and you keep looking. That handles where. Now let's talk about the shelter itself, because this is where the old thinking really separates from the store-bought kind. Nothing in a forest is a straight line, a smooth curve, or a solid block of color. A dome tent is all three, which is why your eye snags on one from 300 yards off. What my people built and what I still build in these oak and hickory woods sits so low and so rough that your eye slides right past it. Find a stout ridge pole, a fallen branch about 8 or 9 feet long. Prop one end on a stump or a low fork, about waist high or lower. Lean deadfall branches along both sides of it, close together like ribs. Now pile leaf litter, dead leaves, and moss over the whole frame, a good foot thick. A foot thick, 12 inches, and thicker is better. Gather that material thin from a wide circle around you so no one spot looks raked bare. Here's the part the sporting goods store will never tell you. That foot of dry leaves is not just camouflage. It is dead air, and dead air is insulation. And I have slept warm under leaves on nights when men in thin nylon tents shivered until sunrise. Keep the whole shelter lower than the brush around it. Break up any straight edge with a branch laid across it. When it is right, it reads as forest floor, because it is forest floor. So that is the spot and the shelter. Now for the two things that betray more camps than anything except smoke, and those are light and sound. On a truly dark night, out away from town, a single candle flame can be picked out by the human eye from well over a mile away. Over a mile for one small flame. So that lantern glowing through your tent wall might as well be a lighthouse. The old way is simple. You do your work with the daylight you have. Set camp in the last hour before dusk, when there is still light to work by but the shadows are already long. Eat before full dark. If you truly need light, keep it low to the ground. Shield it with your body or a bank of dirt, and use the smallest light that will do the job. Sound is the same discipline. Cool night air carries a voice a shocking distance, especially downhill and over water. Keep your voice low after sundown, Wrap anything metal, your cup, your pot, your tools, in a shirt or a cloth so nothing clinks when you move it. And if you have to move around camp, move when the wind moves. The breeze that stirs the whole forest covers the sound of one careful man. My uncles could break camp 10 steps from a sleeping dog and never wake it, and this is the whole secret of how. The last piece before the fire is what you leave behind, and the answer has to be nothing. This was not just caution for my people, it was manners. Take only what you need, use all of what you take, and give the land time to recover. When you break camp in the morning, scatter the shelter frame back into the deadfall where you found it. Spread the leaves back over the ground. Fluff up the flat patch where you slept with a branch, the way you would fluff a pillow. Pack out every scrap you carried in. A man walked away from a camp like that, and by the next rain, the woods had no memory he was ever there. And now we have arrived at the part I promised you at the start. The fire, and the one thing about smoke that decides everything. Here is what smoke actually is. And once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Smoke is unburned wood. It is thousands of tiny bits of fuel that got hot enough to rise off the fire, but never got hot enough to burn. A cold, struggling fire makes clouds of it. A hot, clean fire makes almost none, because a hot fire eats its own smoke before it can escape. So the whole game is heat, and heat starts with the wood. Never burn green wood, and never burn wood picked up off the damp ground. The water inside it cools the flame, and a cool flame pours unburned fuel into the sky. That gray column above the trees is just wet wood announcing you. Take only dead standing wood, the bare gray branch is still on the tree, off the ground. Snap a piece, and if it cracks clean and sharp, it is ready. Now for the old fire itself, the one our people out on the plains engineered, in open country where a flame at night could be seen from horizon to horizon. Dig a hole about 1 foot deep and 1 foot across, 1 foot 12 inches. About a foot away, dig a second smaller hole and connect the two at the bottom with a tunnel. Build your small fire down in the big hole. Here's the why, because the old ones always knew why. As the fire heats up, it pulls fresh air down through that second hole and along the tunnel, feeding the base of the flame like a steady bellows. The fire burns far hotter than an open fire, so it burns nearly all of its fuel, so there is almost no smoke to see, and the flame itself sits below ground level, so there is no light to see either, heat to cook on, warmth for the night, and from 50 yards away, nothing. Build it under a leafy canopy, and what little smoke remains fingers apart through the branches instead of rising in a column. That is the whole answer. Not a smaller fire, a hotter fire, dug into the ground, burning dry standing wood. That is how a camp could sit warm and fed all night in open country and never be found by morning. And that is the kind of knowledge my grandmother and the elders handed me for free, around 1,000 fires. There are 101 of them in the Native American way, written out plain so they do not die with me. The fire skills, the shelters, the backyard plants, and how the old ones actually used them, the wild foods, the winter pantry, $17 down from $47, against everything the pharmacy aisle and the sporting goods store want to sell you for the rest of your life. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up. Give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you're watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So that is the way. Camp back from the water. Build low and rough. Work by daylight. Leave no sign. And burn a hot fire in the ground instead of a cold fire on top of it. Now tell me in the comments where your people are from. And if there's native blood in your family line, like there is in so many American families, I'd be honored to hear the story. I read every single one. Next time, I am going to show you how our people dried meat so it kept all winter without a refrigerator, and the one step at the very start that everybody skips today, the step that decides whether that meat keeps for a year or spoils inside a week. Wado, my friends. That means thank you. Walk easy, and I'll see you down the trail.